Awesome. So today I'm going to be going through a flow I've been working on utilizing RepoPrompt, and I will be trying out Claude Code today. Haven't ever used it yet, but just subscribed, so you got to burn up some credits. So a big thing here is I had a feature idea for my content creation tool. So general idea of the tool, if I pull up here on localhost, we just need to go to, let's see, content/board, loading up here. Essentially, I can take ideas in, generate ideas, review them, provide enrichments, say I want to work with them or not, and then can start edit and churn out. The big thing that I have been working, or issue I've been running into here though, is that I have hard coded in here my target audience and brand voice. I want to be able to easily swap these out, and if I want anyone else to be able to actually use this, needs to be set up in a way that then they can connect and swap things out in an efficient way. Further on this, I want to be able to have the user be allowed to add different contexts based off of what they're talking about. So if there's every time, say, they talk about engineering, they have a few paragraphs that they want always attached, and then they have these contexts that they can then mess around with and inject everything. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like I'm setting up Claude Code right here. Yes, and don't ask again for find commands. Awesome. Sorry, the cat is walking around. He's hanging out. So, while that is running, we are going to now take a look at this full flow. The general idea is that I have a feature spec that I want to work with. I then brought it over here into Claude, or not into RepoPrompt, attached all the files I think would be useful for it, and said, hey, I want to work on this, bringing this into a clearly defined feature definition. So then coming back, I then go in here and build out this full feature definition. It looks good. I then take it over to Notion just so I can read through it to make sure everything looks good, the little QA, and then I bring it back over here, put it into Compose, and then copy out this full prompt. So then now we are into this planning phase here with my custom planner agent. It then comes up, I run it through, a lot of prompts, a lot of data, to then end up with a bunch of checkpoints that I can then work with. So the first one here is this big JSON object that I will copy and paste into Claude Code after this, and essentially we're going to iteratively work through each of these checkpoints, and then ideally by the end of it, we will have the full feature built out. So now let's pull back up. We don't need Figma anymore. We just need this. Yes, and don't ask again for ls commands. Yes. So yeah, we are running right now the Claude setup process, and it's allowing all the find and ls commands, so that's good. Let's see on this repo that I have over here if there's any commands. This doesn't have the full settings.local.json. All right. Let's take a look. I'm going to pause this while it runs, and then we will get into the first implementation after that. All right, we now have the file made properly. So let's kill the commit terminal. And now let's come back over here and get checkpoint 1. Now let's just first, before we even try doing anything more fancy, copy and paste the big thing in. Pro tip, make sure you are in the proper branch and don't commit anything directly to main. Let's add that in. Git commit Claude file. Alright, git push. Now we can go back and run this before, because we never know what is going to happen. Awesome, and now we have that. And it is analyzing. Let's see what it made some to-dos. There it goes. So reading all of these files. With nether data, it's getting everything up. Right, update the to-do. Sending off a message inline there. I would like to adjust this to all be within a new feature called context management. Okay, it's not charging my API. Fantastic. So let's, we got our first. How do diffs show up in this? Yes, we want to make the edit to that. I see, so it makes a suggestion, and then it comes back down. The context models that you made and put in the source database should be moved to the feature models. Yeah, okay, it's moving them without asking. Fantastic. Yes, proceed. Didn't work. Alright, let's just let it do move commands whenever it wants to. Awesome, that is now there. We have context management, we got an API, nothing there yet. We got the models. Everything's looking good so far. Prompts, nothing there yet. Edit the README. Let's read through that. Yes, that looks good. Also looks good. Okay, so I have here in my Alembic setup too that it should, okay, it's using the auto generate. In this though, it should recognize that it needs to import SQL model, because if we take a look at this database, this Alembic versions migration, you will see that, okay, yes, metadata is a failure there, so we got to change that, but you will see that it doesn't have SQL model imported, so let's see what happens. Okay, removing the migration that fucked up. Awesome. Okay, so it got all the types. It's updating it properly. Cool. Okay, now it should need to do the apply. Everything is compiling too on the left. Granted, this isn't the craziest part. Like, this is a pretty... Yeah, what is that? Okay, yeah, we need to make that adjustment for sure. Yeah. Alembic upgrade head. Yes, looks good. Now let's get some X time in. Okay, and it's generating the model stubs, which it needs to do. And let's take a look at those model stubs. Yeah, we got brand voice context. All right. That looks like it did it properly. Let's just take a look through. We got the API in it, and this looks good there. Models, context models. So we got all of these, and essentially they're just enums with metadata describing each of these. Okay, this is a lot better than I'd probably do it, so fuck it. All right, let's go to a checkpoint. Let's see if I do git add dot. Okay, so we're going to clear the conversation history. I'm going to go over here and add this checkpoint. Git commit -m checkpoint 1 complete. All right, we got some failing files. Just leave them. Nothing there. Okay, so we get a lot of rough errors here. Okay, I'm going to figure this out and come back, because this is more end, not the coder's end. Alright, I am back. I have fixed those pesky pre-commit issues, and now we're going to come over here and take in checkpoint 2. Copy. Paste it in there. Alright, 451 lines. Let's now hit run and see what happens. Now we got all of this dependencies, big task. It's making a bunch of CRUD operations. I'm probably going to pull these out, but I'm just letting it do its thing so that it can build up the entirety of the code base as it runs. I'm going to pause this because it's just running. I'm texting people. Checking in back here, we are just generating a bunch of these CRUD workflows. It essentially, I do like this, although I think this will just be good for when I transition this to the TypeScript side of things for actually doing these CRUD operations, because I have this written, so let's just let it keep going. So we're back. It created everything. These workflows look good. We have all these routes. I don't know if I'm going to really be using them, just because this is a data processing backend, but alright, there you go. So now let's go to checkpoint 3. Let's clear it, and then just paste that in, and let it run. So over here you'll see we have implement context selection logic and resolution API. Yeah, we'll see what everything it does, and then we can go in and clean it up. But yeah, we'll just let this run, and I will be back again with checkpoints along the way. We are back. Checkpoint 3 is done. Now let's move into checkpoint 4. Now we need to integrate it into the content workflows. Paste that shit in. And see what's happening. God, guys. What are you guys doing? I don't know where to put you. I'm not this big. You guys are too big. I'm sorry, the two kittens are trying to snuggle. We have everything implemented now, go through the same process, but for the front-end code, to then actually connect everything. Everything looks pretty good. There's a lot of these workflows and routes that didn't really need to make because there is no CRUD on this backend. It's all data processing and a source of truth. That being said, I need to update the rules in this system so that it knows that no CRUD operations should be set up on the backend or in this application. Now we're coming back in to update the front-end code, which this is now where things are going to get a little interesting because the backend looks good, but the key thing is actually plugging this into the front end. So the first pass of connecting this to the front end is simply going to just hook it up. It doesn't need to look right, it just needs to be connected, which is the core thing. Here, when I go to review and I select that one there, and I want to enrich it, and I hit generate hooks, I should be able to connect, I want to do this target audience, these contexts, whatever that is, and be able to set that up and run it. Come over here and to my Notion CRUD operations Python. We're going to name that, and we're going to then stick it into RepoPrompt. We need to put it in a directory first, and I'd prefer to just put it over here. We're just going to throw it in the lib. Doesn't really matter where it goes. Come back over here into Notion, and then we come into here into RepoPrompt. I've just created this new feature, and it's in my backend data processing system and connected to the database. The schema on the front end should be updated to match this. The key thing we now need to do is actually connect this to the front end. I've attached here also some example CRUD operations in Python that we're going to replicate a lot of the logic here. Can we draft this into a more firm and understanding feature specification or feature definition? We're not making any code right now. We just need to iron out what this feature addition is going to look like. And then I will go in here, XML format that to be feature. Awesome. Where was that chat name? Awesome. And now we go into chat. I am going to pop this onto Opus Thinking because I don't like money. And we're just going to let that run. We'll see how this comes out. I'm going to pause while this thinks. This is cute. We got a pretty good setup here, but it's saying week 1 and 2 do this, week 3 and 4, week 5 and 6. That's cute. We're doing it today. Key things I want to add here is please update the spec to state that data fetching is done through React. Actually, we don't need to do that. We have that in the backend. So, awesome. Let's copy this out. We're going to go into Notion. Just going to that looks good. I think we're done with that. So go back to continuation of XWriter. Bam, bam. Make a new to-do. We'll just delete everything. It doesn't really matter. Slap that in here. Context manager. Front end feature specification. Some validation. Sex metrics. We don't care. We just want those user experience flows, and we get all of that. So, bam, we then copy. We come back over to RepoPrompt. We hit compose, and we slap that shit in there. And wow, that's looking good. We have 117,000 tokens. We copy. We then proceed to go back to Spectre. we make a new file here called ctx mgfe, just because I don't want to type it out. We do, bam, we now have 13,000 lines of fun. And don't worry, Spectre doesn't care. We come in here and we do ctx mngfe, restart. Oh, let's just make a new folder here. What was that? I don't know. Context, manager, backend. This will soon be moved out of a Jupyter notebook, but for now, we do not care. Make sure we're on Pro. Those checkpoints are done with Flash. That's cute. Make that directory now there too. I don't think we are doing this overall summary. Now let's restart or run all. This is probably going to take around 10 minutes. Let's actually just take a look. So we analyzed 94 files. You slap everything together, and then we're going to take a look at the outline of what it's going to do. We'll walk through the outline while it starts generating each in-depth step. Set up core infrastructure. Just make sure that was actually, yeah, okay, that was Pro. So we have 7, 1 through 6. I think that's going to look good. And then now here it builds out our task phases. And this is a formatting for RepoPrompt down here. Didn't really work as thought. But essentially, though, the idea with Spectre here is breaking things down into checkpoints. So you have the phases of implementation, and then it breaks it down into checkpoints of parallel task tranches. So each tranche has tasks that it can operate in parallel that are non-blocking, and each thing is then layering on top of it. So then you can come in and then do human in the loop at each of these phases, so that AI can run and make 7 files, do pretty good work. And as we saw earlier, it was able to do the entire backend change pretty much by itself. I had to do a little QA here and there, but I just had to scope it out and it ran through. But yeah, we are going to take a look and see when this comes back once I have all the checkpoints ready to go. We currently have been running the planner for 9 minutes. We have 2 of the 7 checkpoints generated out. I have set up Claude Code on the front end, so now let's just go and throw that in and just see what happens. Cool. Now it's running, and yeah, we'll update as I have front end changes to show. Checkpoint 1 has been completed, and if we take a look here at the UI, let's just reload up what we got going on. I'm not sure what's going on with. We're just going to kill it and check again because acting a little funky. Cool. But we got over here this context management, all of these things. Awesome, looking good. And if we take a look over here, it has created all the files that we need. So we will go in and run checkpoint 2. Now, before I get too deep in this, let me make a new terminal. Get status. What are we in? Good enough repo. Get commit -m checkpoint 1 done. Git push. Awesome. So we did those 538 lines. Awesome. Let's let that run. Then we will see what it does. Just checking in, we are now on the creating the UI components. And components, oh, I didn't get my rules that the components are put in each of the pages, but we'll see if that's more generalized. And we'll see. We'll just see how it goes. But usually I store components in the page under components here, but we'll see if it is doing that or not properly as we go. Checkpoint 2 is now set up and running. We are going to now move into checkpoint 3. So there we go. We got checkpoint 3 going in. Awesome, 519 lines. Let's run it. All right, now it's running, and we will see what the UI looks like. Checking back in here to show off checkpoint 3. We have these creator profiles. We can edit it by clicking in here and update all of these things, change the UI to have these up at the top, but we can adjust that later. No big deal, but it looks really nice. And says we have these things all set up. CRUD functions seem to be working. So now we're going to go ahead to checkpoint 4, which is to implement context sets pages and include them in all of these things. The drag and drop interface, we got it all. And luckily I already have React D&D installed. So we will do checkpoint 4. Let's now close down all these files. Checkpoint 3 is done. There we go. We push that up so we have everything. We go back to code. We hit a clear. Bro, I might need to get the $200 a month plan. This is crazy, man. Now let's kick it off. Camera froze, but got the newest updates. It allows you to go through. We got some good UIs. I'm probably going to do some QA to make sure everything looks good, but overall pretty awesome. Knocked out a lot of stuff in an afternoon.